When President Biden took office in January 2021, the COVID death toll in the U.S. had just surpassed 400,000. Part of his administration's pandemic strategy was to fight mis- and disinformation.
Modern technology companies have enabled misinformation to poison our information environment with little accountability to their users.
We are in regular touch with these social media platforms, and those engagements typically happen through members of our senior staff, but also members of our COVID-19 team.
Did the government's correspondence with social media companies violate the First Amendment? That question now before the Supreme Court.
The government's not allowed to engage in that kind of censorship. They're also not allowed to outsource that to these social media giants either.
The Biden administration says the decisions to moderate content were ultimately made independently by the platforms in line with existing company policies. And much of that moderation, they say, began before the government's conduct at the center of this case.
There's a problem if the government is engaged in coercion, but if it stays on the persuasion side of the line and all we're talking about is government speech, then there's no state action and there's also no First Amendment problem.
The administration points out there was no retaliation in instances the platforms did not remove the content they found problematic. Some of the justices, including Chief Justice John Roberts, appeared skeptical of the Republican AG's arguments.
Maybe the EPA is trying to coerce the platform about something, and the Army Corps of Engineers is trying to coerce them the other way. I mean, you can't just sort of pick and choose which part of the government you're concerned about.
The court's decision in this case could determine how or if the government can communicate with platforms during the next emergency. For example, if the FBI is concerned about posts by a terrorist group, even if that speech is technically protected by the First Amendment.
What this case, I think, really represents is updating First Amendment law into the digital age.
The court's ruling in this case is expected by early June. On Capitol Hill, I'm Atrel Najar reporting.